Hey, RetconRaider here. Before we get started, I'd just like to thank the Raiders, the fine folks who help make these videos possible. With special thanks to Revenant, Anerdinwarpaint, Antonio Hernandez, Matthew Holmquist, Nathan Welch Jr., and Valinrook. Thanks for your support, guys. That said, let's get started. And welcome back to Wasteland 3, as we tie off some last loose ends and then officially leave the bloody slopes of Aspen behind us, in exchange for some hopefully more civilized settings. Granted, that's not really saying much, but at the very least, places like Colorado Springs and Denver should at least be slightly more hygienic. Slightly. With that in mind, I do actually have a crib sheet here with about 20 things we need to take care of, so I'm not sure how long that's going to take. Let's just jump right in, and hopefully we can at least get back to Colorado Springs. One thing I will highlight here is that although we can't actually interact with it, we've got some high-grade medical equipment in the Patriarch's private suite here. That's pretty telling. By the look of it, this map of Colorado has been crumpled many, many times. You smooth out the wrinkles and see 3 women's names, and some directions beneath them, written in plain, capitalized letters, probably by the Patriarch himself. At the top of the map is a single word: Graves.
I know those names. Those are the poor ladies who married the Patriarch. Every last one of them dead.
I think we've actually seen all their graves at this point. Cleo. Aspen, outside ski shop. The Patriarch's writing is slanted, rushed, almost dismissive. Right, we definitely saw that one. Laura. It is difficult to read these small, smeared letters. Colorado Springs, Northwest Park, quince bushes. That would be right out in front of the Patriarch's palace. We saw that one too. Livia. The name hovers above a circle surrounding a remote location outside Colorado Springs. The Patriarch's letters are smaller here than elsewhere. Near the Hoon's residence. Right. That is also very telling. That would be the mysterious, depressed woman who was hosted for a night by the Hoon family and then hung herself in the trees out back. Very intriguing. I believe that was the Patriarch's original wife, too. Though I would like to swing by the portraits at the palace again, just to give them another look. Let's see what else we've got here. Poke action figure. A toy version of the rambunctious robot. Strange. Best Boss. Leadership skill book. Nice. Polar Vortex. The bullets from this cryotech marvel will deliver impact damage, then freeze any organs they hit. Oh, that actually looks pretty promising. Tier 7. Decent damage. Cryo damage too, so it would ignore most conventional armor. Useless against robots, though. Patient Report. Saul Buchanan. A recent medical evaluation of the Patriarch, written by Dr. Nash Parker. Yeah, this should definitely answer a few questions. In fact, Dr. Parker is our doctor, the guy we recruited back in Colorado Springs. We might just need to have a chat with him once we get back. Patient continues to experience tremors in both hands, muscular rigidity, and loss of balance. I have observed cognitive changes as well, such as irritability, impaired judgment and decision-making, and moderate depression. All symptoms are worsening at a steady rate. It is my opinion that Mr. Buchanan is suffering from the so-called shaking palsy, for which there is no cure. At the current pace of symptom progression, I would estimate that Mr. Buchanan will be completely incapacitated within 2 to 3 years. Dementia is also likely. In my professional judgment, Saul Buchanan is no longer fit to carry out the responsibilities of his office. A successor should be found as soon as possible. Nash Parker, M.D. At the bottom of the document, someone has scrawled in an unsteady hand, "Absolute nonsense. Remove Parker from my service and find a new doctor." Wow. And yeah, I think back when we were first wandering through Broadmoor Heights, we actually heard a random rumor about how the Patriarch had stopped making public appearances right after he had fired his doctor, which it turns out is now our doctor. So we will definitely want to follow up on that. Vic and Breathers. An oily stain has soaked into the label of this cassette tape, but you can make out the words, "Sweet dreams are made by me." The casing emits a strange chemical smell. Well, say what you will about Vic, but he's got good taste in music. K-Cannon. A weaponized flare gun fires globs of potassium that burn at over 1,000 degrees. And that is some pretty serious fire damage. Though, unfortunately, our primary fire guy cannot actually use revolvers, so that's a bit of a kick in the pants. Might be a good fit for Longway, though. And that's another reason to start stocking energy cells a bit more heavily.
That's right. Breathe it in. All the way in. Taste that shit. Like sunlight and fucking cotton candy, am I right? You feel it, right? No fear, no pain, no hunger. Just like a dream. Dream. Yes. This is my gift to you. You understand? Do as I say, and you can stay in the dream forever. Obey, dream giver. Always. That's right. Just keep breathing, and leave the rest to me.
Empty bottles of pain medicine and alcohol surround the sink. Someone's been having either a really good time or a really bad time. Or, knowing Vic, both. It's interesting. I mean, obviously Vic is a monster. There's no getting around that, but based on some of the darker things that we're starting to get hints of about the Patriarch and the way he dealt with not just Colorado Springs, but his own family, you can kind of get an idea of how Vic might have turned out the way he did. Same with Liberty and her bloodthirsty aspirations, or Valor and his pathological need for acknowledgement and respect. But of course, we're just seeing bits and pieces of the full picture right now. We'll have to keep digging. Anyway, let's follow up with Vic's victims. Mrs. Reed?
Is it done then? Is Victory dead? Or captured, of course. I wouldn't wish harm on the Patriarch's son.
Yeah, it's done. You can go home.
It took you long enough. What have I done to deserve such incompetent servants?
Oh, I don't know. I feel like anything I might say wouldn't really do it justice. You have a nice life, Mrs. Reed. Okay, so who's next? We already saw the Reed daughters leave, but we left Rook near that cage. Oh, looks like he finally made his way out. Okay. Ah, but we can check on our boy Llewellyn. See how he's holding up.
Feeling much better already, Rangers. I'll set off in a little while.
Cool. Glad to hear it. Just to let you know, we got into the 100 Families vault.
You did what, Rangers? Oh, I see. You're just keeping the 100 Families' treasure safe for them. Clever play, Rangers.
Sure. Yeah, that is exactly why. Nice detective work, Llewellyn. You take care of yourself, kid. Looks like Pazeppi is gone. I'm assuming we'll find her and the others back with Woodson. So, I guess we'll just have a chat with the gift.
Rangers, my people tell me it's done. Aspen will go dark again. Maybe for good this time. The Patriarch has his son back. Maybe he'll keep him this time. I'm glad. Glad we stayed out of your way. The breathers can leave now to find their own path. Into the mountains. Away from violence. Goodbye, Rangers.
Goodbye, the gift. You want to run that last part by me again? I didn't quite catch that. Anyway, I can't imagine the doctor has anything to say. So we will leave the gift and her 7 surviving breathers to their own devices. You know, I do wish we had found more information about the gift. We found that portrait, but that really just told us that she was the daughter of a woman who might have run Aspen at one point. Maybe Vic would have told us something if we had recruited him. Guess there's nothing we can do for poor Eston. Oh, but I should note that we did meet Eston's family back in Broadmoor Heights. So, at the very least, we can let them know what happened to him.
Oh, hi, ow! These handcuffs are real tight.
Gosh, I'm really sorry about that. We'll get them off of you as soon as we toss you in a nice, comfy cell. Poor guy.
You got it, boss. I'll just stay right here.
Okay, let's go check on Woodson. Oh, and there he is, waiting for us with all those other rangers we rescued. I am fairly certain that Pizzeppi's about to ask to join us, so let's go ahead and prep Scotchmo for the swap. I suppose we can at least leave him with his trademark shotgun. I'm tempted to give him some other basic gear too, but I don't think it's necessary. Alright, let's do this. Time to finalize our field team.
There you are, Rangers. Starting to wonder if Vic got you.
Good to see you getting shit done, November.
I'll radio HQ and get them to send us some transport. See you there.
Yeah, ditto. You're all right.
Before you head out, I have something to ask you. If I go back to Ranger HQ now, I'll probably end up in a room doing lab work. To be honest, I'm kind of tired of research. I'd rather take my chances out there with you. There are some things you just can't learn in the lab, you know? So, can I join your squad?
Yes, absolutely. Welcome to the squad.
Glad to join your team.
Well, Scotchmo, as much fun as it has been to, have you drunkenly sliding along behind us, I think it's about time we swapped you out for someone slightly more lucid. Oh, wow. Looks like Pizzeppi... Actually, Pizzeppi comes in at a higher level than Scotchmo does. And she has automatic weapons maxed out. That is slightly unexpected. Unique SMG, the Atomizer. Not terrible, but that thing would absolutely devour energy cells. I'm not sure that would be worth the cost of firing it. But we can give her the cryo rifle we just found. The Polar Vortex. That way we could also keep the Meat Maker on Bonkers, which I think is slightly more fitting for him. Alright, Scotchmo. See you back at base, buddy. I will say, while I'm sad to see him go, he did at least help us with Aspen. Not to mention, he, immortalized himself in film. The less said about that, the better. Oh, wow. Pizzeppi has already assigned all of her points. She is actually coming in completely predefined. Fortunately, she's got a pretty decent starting spread. Coordination's a bit lower than I'd like, but I think we can work with this. No quirk, and the researcher background, which grants a modest resistance to all elemental damage. Not the most exciting background, but certainly not the worst. Automatic weapons, plus nerd stuff and weird science, with a slight dip into first aid. Only 2 points, but that is enough to let her use med packs. Interesting. Yeah, we can definitely work with this. Puncturing shot, Gopher Hunter, and double tap. That's odd, considering that her starting weapon is an energy SMG. You would think they would have actually given her the SMG-based perks, not the assault rifle ones. We'll have to fill that out a bit as she gains more levels. Though I think our first stop is going to have to be this one, Trigger Happy, because that is an incredible perk. Aside from that, we've got a couple of nerd stuff perks, which should come in handy. It'll be nice to be able to hack more than one robot at a time. And we've got a couple of weird science perks, which I've never actually experimented with before. I mean, we do have weird science on Rhett, but they don't really mesh well with his weapons of choice. Anyway, let's go ahead and get her equipped. I'll have to do some off-screen bookkeeping once we get back to Colorado Springs, too, just to clear out some of this clutter. Can't say I'm thrilled by that armor set, but it'll have to do. And since she is coming in at our lowest total XP, we will also toss her that XP boosting badge. Okay, moving on. Oh, shoot, hold on. I almost forgot about Gun Bunny. Huh. What am I going to do with her? My original plan here was to have Pizzepi take ownership of Gun Bunny. But obviously that's not an option. She doesn't have any points to spare. I guess we'll just have Lucia go ahead and sink a few points into Animal Whisperer. Then she can go ahead and take Gun Bunny instead. It's not the best fit, but you know what? Gun Bunny's been with us so long, I just don't feel right leaving her behind in Aspen. Come on, girl. We've got more killing to do. No ranger left behind. Except Scotchmo. And, Jody. And maybe Quan. He looks back at the spit, shivering with the cold, but afraid of the flames. Yeah, that's, gotta be pretty rough. Well, I guess we will see you back in town, Mr. Knox.
God protect and preserve you, strangers.
You too, buddy. Take care. It's interesting. They really play up the psychological scars that would be left by a lot of these scenarios. It brings an almost uncomfortable focus onto that bleak aftermath of otherwise mundane RPG scenarios. I think we've pretty much maxed our reputation with the families, so that's something. Oh, right, and let's go ahead and fill those quick slots. We could actually give her shrink grenades, but I've honestly been hard-pressed to find good excuses to use those. But we are about to have Doll crack open a bunch of safes, so we'll have her borrow that XP badge for a moment. I'll just have to remember to swap it back before we actually head out. Cash money, always useful. And I'd like to make a quick detour here. I want to take another look at that grave we saw earlier. Ah, right, we had that trap we couldn't get past. Fortunately, I believe we now have enough points for it. Yep, that should do it. That actually puts us within spitting distance of maxing that out. We just need one more level. Yeah. Then we can start playing with all these secondary skills. Then we'll go ahead and bump Longway's intelligence as well. He is definitely spread thinner than most of our other characters, but he also gains skill points a lot faster, so I'm pretty sure he'll be fine. At any rate, let's go check out that grave. Wish we had room for the growler cub too, but there's just way more animal companions than you have companion slots. Now, I am not entirely sure what to expect here, but let's see what we've got. According to the Patriarch's map, this is the grave of Cleo, one of the Patriarch's wives.
I remember her. A little. Pretty. Not too smart. Never got the sense that the Patriarch cared much for her, but after his previous wife tried to kill him and steal his throne, a wife who was pretty and dumb must have been a nice change.
Oh. His previous wife tried to steal his throne. That would be, Laura? The one who's buried in the park, I think. This is the first we're hearing about that. One of my viewers actually noted that each of the Patriarch's children came from a different wife, so I wonder who Cleo was mother to. Victory or Valor, whichever one's younger. You dig down into the frozen earth. After some hard work, you unearth a coffin. Opening the lid, you find a skeleton inside. Cleo's skeleton is petite and of average height for a woman. The cause of death seems obvious. A single bullet hole in the middle of the forehead. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say it was not natural causes. That is very unusual, and more than a little unsettling. Okay, let's think this through. Based on what we know, this was the Patriarch's third and final wife, the most short-lived of his wives. Essentially his, token trophy wife. After the previous wife, Laura, had attempted to betray him, and presumably got killed for her troubles. So why would this one end up with a bullet in her head? I mean, I suppose it's possible that she was also part of some sort of plot against him. A weakness, or maybe someone who is also trying to angle for his throne. Or maybe he just got tired of her. Maybe Victory murdered her. I don't know. I don't think the timeline would line up right for Victory to have killed her. I think we need another look at those portraits back at the Patriarch's Palace. Back on topic, nothing notable there. Wasteland Hawk, but I believe we already have one on Longway. Yep. But I suppose this is a good opportunity to go ahead and equip that fire revolver. We'll definitely swap in the cryo shotgun. The one that we just took off Scotchmo. That's a pretty solid upgrade for Lucia's off slot. And it gives her some slightly more interesting options. I'm not so sure about the K-cannon, though. I wouldn't want to necessarily put multiple anti-organic weapons on the same person. She does have a slight edge on damage, but you know what? We'll go ahead and give it to Longway. As much as I have enjoyed having that cryo pistol, we've been getting less and less use out of it lately. Unfortunately, all the enemies have just been resisting the frozen effect. So we might as well stick with something that just does more raw damage. We've got 2 more safes to crack, and we've got this mine over here that I don't think we can actually do anything with just yet. And then after that, I would like to check in with Opie. I'm also curious what the deer might grant as a bonus if we actually tamed one. I've never had one before, but I'm assuming it's like a movement bonus. I know, we already have enough pets. I'm really just thinking out loud. And makeshift mace. 1 more safe to go. Fingers crossed. Opie survives. The words, "In case of death, play this," has been written on this cassette's label in crude block handwriting, only to be crossed out sometime later. I bet we would have found that on him if we had killed him. Or at least a key to the safe.
Holy shit! Aspen's under attack! Fuckers came right out of the snowstorm and they're shooting anything that moves! Sounds like a fucking war zone out there. I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna do. I locked myself in the back room with most of my gear, but I lost my damn glasses out in the snow. I just gotta lay low and hope nobody comes looking. Been about 24 hours since the attack, I guess. Didn't get much sleep. Shooting stopped mostly, but I can still hear screams up by the lodge. Awful sounds. It's been 3, maybe 4 days now. Quiet out there. Most everybody must be dead. I got enough food for maybe another day if I stretch it. After that, I don't know. Wait, something's happening. Oh, please, God, let it be the marshals.
I guess that would have been when we showed up. Good timing. Let's see if he has anything else to say.
Hey, buddy. Welcome back. You here to talk or trade?
Guess not. We'll have 1 more look at his inventory and then move on.
Oh, sure, buddy. Yeah, here you go.
Alright, nothing's jumping out at me. There are some minor upgrades here, but I'm hoping we can find better stuff once we get back to Ranger HQ. We will take those energy cells, though. Like I said, we're really going to need to start stockpiling those. All right, folks. I think we are officially ready to leave Aspen behind us. Took slightly longer than anticipated, and you know what? I would actually like to go back and do 1 more pass. Let's hit the pause button real quick. I'm going to go double check some things, and we'll be right back.
Hey, cowboys. It's Dead Red talking at you again. Come back on our private channel, yeah?
Colonel?
Heard you captured Slick Vic. Congratulations. Can't say I wouldn't have rathered seen him dead in a ditch, but maybe you'll do better next time. Anyhow, I'm glad the psycho son of a bitch is in custody where he won't be able to terrorize all and sundry.
How do you, know about this?
You know that old song, The Night Has 1,000 Eyes? Well, so does ol' Angie. I got an ear at every window and a finger in every pie. Now let's talk about the other one.
You mean Valor?
Damn right I mean Val. Gipper's got him in their pocket, and if old Saul was to die and Val was to take over, those crazy Regan worshippers would suddenly be running Colorado from behind the throne. That wouldn't be an easy thing to change after the fact, so maybe it'd be best to put poor Val out of his misery before he inherits the state, yeah?
I've got to say, Colonel, I kind of see where you're coming from here, but it doesn't really sound like he deserves that.
I know, it's ugly business, but from a, political perspective, any child of the Patriarch is a destabilizing force on the region. If you want peace in Colorado, the Buchanan brand has got to go.
Oh boy. I have to say, I am wildly uncomfortable with what Angela is proposing here. She is essentially suggesting a series of calculated political assassinations to wipe out an entire family so that, we can then step in and forcibly assume control or prop up our own puppet leader of some sort? I mean, I'm actually pretty fuzzy on the details here because she hasn't actually shared any clear-cut plan with us aside from kill the Patriarch's children and then also maybe kill him? I mean, look, I see that she is really kind of pushing the necessary evils argument, doing bad things for the right reasons, but she's doing it in response to a regime that appears to have been built on that exact same premise. So I feel like any regime that she then sets up to replace it, if built on that same foundation, would end up ultimately suffering exactly the same problem. I don't know, Colonel. I'm not sure about this.
Well, just keep it in mind. That's all I'm asking. And now I better mosey. I'll be talking to you. Dead Red, over and out.
Okay, anyway, we obviously have some side locations here, but I'm kind of stuck on this thing with the Patriarch's wives. I've never really looked into that before. I think what we're going to do is head straight back to Colorado Springs, but we are going to take a quick detour to the Hoon homestead. We're actually running really short on time here, but I'm thinking we'll check that grave, then we'll drop straight over to Broadmoor Heights, check the second grave, and then from there we'll swing by the Patriarch's throne room. Have another gander at those portraits of the dearly departed. Hang in there, elves. We'll be back. That might wrap around, but I don't think we want to take any detours right now. Oh, hey. Hidden structure. A small concrete hatch protrudes from the ground. Beside it, what used to be a mounted turret has been scavenged for parts. Oh, thank goodness we've got a master of unlocking. A rush of pressure whistles past you as the bunker's warm, putrid air escapes into the cold night. Entering the bunker, you quickly find the source of the smell, The decomposed bodies of the original inhabitants lay in their beds. Yeah, I guess we should give these poor folks a proper burial. Though I am really hoping this is not mutually exclusive to properly looting this place. That would bum me out. You dig some shallow graves, wrap the corpses in their bed sheets, and bury them. The stench is unbearable, but disperses once they're under the earth and snow. You say a few words and head back down. Nice. The food is long expired, but you find a fair amount of random supplies, though. You grab it and go. Oh, snap, that is an assault weapon skill book. That right there makes the entire discovery worth it. Honestly, the rest of this stuff is just a bonus. Wow, I am so glad that we cranked up Doll's lockpicking. Otherwise, we could have very well missed this stuff. And would you look at that? That is actually our second assault weapon skill book. And given that Pizepi is already maxed out, she doesn't need one. So that means both of them can go to Bonkers. So, you know what? That means we can immediately max him out, and I see no reason not to. Man, that is fantastic. I just can't get over how incredibly fortunate we are. Yeah, we'll focus on boosting his first aid next, and after that we'll cap out his persuasion skills. Not too shabby. You know what, I'm going to go ahead and set a quick save, just in case the game crashes or something. I do not want to risk losing that. And the streak continues. Cash. Someone has written in big letters on this crate. Warning, booby-trapped. Do not touch. Well, what if we disarm the trap? You successfully disarm the trap and look inside. You shouldn't have bothered. This stuff is boring. You know what? I will still take it. Free stuff is free stuff. Though, I wouldn't complain if we found another skill book. Sorry. Alright, we are headed to the Hoon Homestead, which is... You know what, I'll just look at the map. Right, this way. Huh. An overhanging rock surrounded by dense brush provides some shelter from the weather and prying eyes. Well, we don't really need healing, so I guess we'll just search the area. Animals have been here recently. They could still be around. Well, again, we don't really need the food, so I guess we'll just chill out and see what happens. The animals didn't come back. Everybody got a decent night's rest. You feel great when you wake up. Cool. Didn't really need the healing, but we'll take it. And we do still have our third eye mutation. I'll admit I'm a bit paranoid about accepting healing from any source, because some of them will wipe out your mutations. Oh. Huh. I think it was just a misfiring script, but it just tried to hijack the camera from us. Yeah, seems fine.
Look here, Angus. Our old friends are back. We were hoping you'd turn up again. Wish we made a pie for the occasion.
Heard all about you from folks passing through. Sounds like you're making a name for yourselves down in the city. Now we can say we were the first to meet you.
Oh, I like these guys. I am so glad that we opted to save them.
Best of luck and stay alive.
Let's see if they've got anything new for us.
Hey, want to show me how to shoot some guns?
My husband's out on a long hunt. Wish he was here to meet you.
I can't go poop when people are watching.
Why complain about life, you know? It's so easy to end it.
Yeah, I am very proud of you for not murdering your family. Keep it up, champ. The Patriarch's map says that this is where his wife, Livia, was buried. Oh, we can't actually dig this one up. Which I guess makes sense, given that she's the only one who killed herself. Alright, well, back to Colorado Springs. We'll have to make this quick.
Come in, Team November. This is HQ. We finally got a signal through to Arizona. It's a bit spotty, but we got word from General Wade Woodson. He'd like to speak with you.
Hey, nice. Great job, Gonzalez. We'll be back for that call.
Thanks, November. Amazing what you can do with a bit of tape and a lot of ingenuity. See you soon. Over and out.
Oh, that's something to look forward to. Wow, yet another non-combat encounter. Abandoned building. An old grain silo next to a burned-down farmhouse. It smells like mold. Time to see if anybody left anything interesting behind. You find a padlocked stash. Time to get out your tools. Well, that paid off. Look at this loot. Wow. It's not much, but seriously, we are on a roll here. And a turret. Extra bonus. I must have done something right. Okay, next stop, Broadmoor Heights.
Command calling Team November. Come in. Listen, I tried to put her off, but Mrs. Wong just won't stop calling about this noise. Could you do me a...
Don't you try to make it sound like it's nothing. Those kids are driving my cats and me crazy.
Huh, I am not sure what's happening here. What kids?
The kids who broke into Farron Brago's old club. They're having a dance party in there. Boom, 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 all night long. They're a public menace.
Oh.
Would you mind checking it out, November? She's not gonna stop calling until you do.
I can hear you, you know.
Roger, we'll check it out now.
Thanks, November. I owe you.
What did they say? Are they gonna do it? They better take care of this. I'll write a letter to the paper.
I have never actually seen this before. In my test campaign, I actually sided with Brago. I look forward to checking that out.
How does a place like this still exist?
When's the last time anyone saw the Patriarch? He was down at the old airbase to greet the Rangers, I think. Before that, yeah, I can't remember either. You think he really is sick? I heard he fired his doctor. Maybe he didn't like the diagnosis.
Right, so it's a pretty poorly kept secret.
It feels so empty now. Even when Pa and Ma were traveling, they were here. Their spirits filled the place. Now, they do not.
That's a bummer, Lucia. I'd feel bad for you, but I already felt bad for you the first time you said that. I have a finite amount of feel bad, so I must carefully ration them.
Takes some ego to erect a thing like that.
Ah, right. Now that you know what to look for, you can see that the plaque is actually a cleverly concealed hatch. There's a tiny pinhole near the top left of the plaque. Interesting. I think we'll hold off on that for the moment, but we might check out that bunker before we head to Denver. I'm undecided on that. We gotta stay on task for now. There we go. A well-kept grave stands in the middle of the park, inscribed with the letters LB. According to the Patriarch's burial map, this is where Laura is buried. Well, here goes nothing. You lift spadefuls of dirt from the grave, setting them to the side. Inside a fine wooden coffin, Laura's skeleton is shrouded in embroidered, decaying silk. Let us, search the remains for clues. You spot something that was placed beside the skeleton. Since Laura isn't using it anymore, you pick it up. Was that a Nintendo light gun? You lean over the grave to take a closer look. Corroded trinkets, stained paper, and dead stems surround the skeleton like an aura. There is no sign of how she died. Interesting. I was honestly expecting another bullet to the head.
I can't believe how many people Vic murdered.
Pretty. That could have been my family. We were supposed to be in Aspen if James hadn't gotten sick.
The good Lord kept you safe. He has some other purpose in mind for you.
Like getting killed.
Cool. Sounds like a healthy conversation.
Welcome, Rangers.
Joe? Don't mind us, just passing through.
This palace used to be a fancy hotel back before the deluge. Wonder if they had the turret guns back then.
The Patriarch likes it quiet in here. So do we.
Cleo, 2072. So that would be the third and final wife.
These were his wives? I wonder how they felt about it.
Well, given how they ended up, I'm gonna guess they didn't feel great about it. And yeah, Laura was the second traitorous wife. Apparently she only lasted 2 years. Whereas Livia, his original wife, was the one who killed herself. I think I'm going to have to pontificate on this. Gotta say, I have some interesting new information to mull over here. So let's go ahead and hit the pause button for now, and we'll pick up here next time, as we check in with the Patriarch and see what's new around town. See you then. Oh, and remember, although I do love playing Wasteland 3, you can find out more about the game by visiting the official website, the official YouTube channel, the official social media feeds, or the official store pages. As always, links are in the description.
What's the other one? His Drakiith.